Hello, I'm Matt Ward. I'm the host of my new channel, Just Football and Soccer. Today, as you can see by the title, I'm going to get stuck into my English Premier League predictions for this season 2025-26. And the good news is about being a new channel, not many people are going to be watching, so that's few people who are going to be calling me a bold ginger. Now, there are already numerous videos on this topic going around on YouTube already, and they're all pretty much the same. I've watched them all. I'm going to be throwing in a few shocks, a few which you're going to think, what are you talking about? But I'm telling you my perspective where I'm coming from. Okay, so I'm looking at the club, the team dynamics, I'm looking at the new transfers in, any outgoings, and any kind of chemistry which has been destroyed from the new incoming transfers, stuff like that. I'm going to look at any new managers, new coaches like Spurs are going to be experiencing. I'm also going to be taking into consideration European action and also the Club World Cup, which is, at the time of doing this video, hasn't finished yet. Everyone's now talking about the four big super clubs being Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City and Chelsea, buying big, Champions League, they've got the money coming in, and if anyone will be able to catch them. They've made massive additions and not many weaknesses. However, I am going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works and I'm going to make some bold predictions which could come off. And if they don't, no one will be surprised. However, if they do, I'm going to come back to this video and go, look at me, I am absolutely mega. I mean, as a failed semi-pro reserve team player and a coach what can only coach in Asia because he's not good enough to coach in Europe or back home in England, how wrong could I be? Let's get straight stuck into it. There's obviously 20 to get through. I'm going to put them in order, starting from bottom team, so relegation 18-20, lower mid-table, high mid-table, Europa Conference position. Obviously, the Europa places could change depending on what happens across Europe as well. Europa League, Champions League, second, fourth, and then the champions. Now, it'll be in order. For example, it'll be top team and champions, then it'll be second place, third place, fourth place, fifth place, sixth place, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, etc., etc. Okay. Now, a lot of these I'm going with my gut. A lot of these I have got my my workshop here. I've got some facts, but I'll share some stats that I'll throw out. But look, I've been living in Taiwan for over a decade now, so all you Premier League followers will probably have more knowledge than I do about what's going on. But this is just through my research, through the dynamics, through what I'm feeling as a coach, on my coach mindset. But I do like the clubs such as Bournemouth, such as Brentford, such as Brighton, what are really well-run clubs. They're running it as a compact business, unlike United at the moment. But that's a story for a different day, perhaps a different century. And look, not to offend any supporters, if anyone does actually watch this video, look, I think it's a massive achievement for everyone playing in the Premier League. All the teams deserve it, but I can't sit on the fence. This is what I'm going for, and this is why. Relegation. Bottom team, I'm going Burnley. Okay. Now, Burnley, as crazy as it may sound, because when you're looking at the Leeds United and Burnley both getting 100 points in the previous season, look at Leeds goals for. Then you're thinking, well, why am I sticking Burnley down there? Okay, absolutely not the worst team what's come up. And look, they are a renowned yo-yo club. And I'm just going my gut feeling. I mean, look, I'm a big fan of Scotty Parker. I like the way how he's a little bit pragmatic, but he's got something to prove as well. And I just like him as a personality and a character. However, look, I don't know why, but there's a few players that Burnley let go out of contract as well. So if I'm just nipping into here, Josh Brownhill, I was surprised about that they lost the centre back. Egan Riley, what's gone to Marseille. It's a great coup for Marseille, by the way. And I'm just a little bit unsure. Now, look, they have got some incomings, some transfers coming in. Okay, good dollar for Tujana from Lazio. And then we're looking at Marcus Edwards as well, okay? But now we're looking at fees, and this isn't disrespect to anyone who's moving for 10 million or 8 million. And look, this is euros, this is transfermarket.com. However, look, when people are going now 100 million, back in the day when United used to be linked, Fergie wanted him so bad with Gabriel Batistuta, and that was for around 9 or 10 million at the time, or it might have been 13 million, 12 million pushing it. So we're looking now at this day and age at these prices, and it's not groundbreaking, okay? Now, I'm just thinking, look, for these players to come in to adjust, look, I know it's the same for everyone, but for a new team, a newly promoted team who are renowned for being a yo-yo club with a very difficult first, let's say, 7 games. So looking into Burnley now, the first 7 matches, we've got Spurs, Sunderland, United, Liverpool, Forest, City, Aston Villa, Leeds, Wolves, Arsenal. Okay, and you can't say that for most of the clubs, but you're looking and thinking. Sunderland could be make or break for them, like early on. That's the thin line here we're talking about, and also the Leeds game. Okay, now I talk more on this when I go into the three where I'm relegating, and when I say why, and you are going to be a little bit surprised. You're going to think I'm just talking utter BS. However, the next team I'm going for, and a club which I like because for the years now they've overperformed. Well, they've not overperformed, but they've really set the foundations of being a Premier League club. Is Bournemouth. Really well run, like I said previously. Just like I rate Brentford, just like I rate Brighton. But for me, Bournemouth are going to be in or thereabouts because I just feel that when you're looking at Spurs, when you're looking at United, they're going to have better seasons. And I just feel that Burnley, Leeds, and Sunderland are going to make a better go of it than Ipswich and Leicester and Southampton did last season. Okay, where you had some teams trying to play their own football, what got them promoted. I think the newly promoted teams this year are going to be more pragmatic. I think they have got the ability to get results against these kind of teams like Brentford's, your Bournemouths, your Wolves even. I think they're going to be snatching points from each other, and I think they're going to be drawn into this. This could be a bit of a surprise, but I'm just feeling they are going to get sucked into it, and it's going to be very, very difficult come Christmas time for them to get themselves out of it. If we're looking into the fixtures now for Bournemouth, not actually a for Bournemouth here. I was going to say not a bad start, but you've got Liverpool, you've got Wolves, you've got Spurs, you've got Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds. Okay, look, there aren't any easy games. And when I'm looking at outgoing slot, I don't know if there's been any new transfers ins since making this video, but that's a huge one. The centre back's gone there, 62 million to Real Madrid. Okay, and you got Kirkez, which is also gone. So they have got dollar in there, but whether or not they're going to have time to buy anyone or attract anyone, which is going to actually set the bar a little bit higher. Who knows? Well, I don't know, but I've just got this feeling. I just think that they've done really well, and everyone always goes back to the ground and oh look, the home games they need to make it more of a fortress, but it's difficult with their capacity and whatnot. Although it is a mini fortress, I just have this nagging feeling they're going to be drawn into it. Max Aaron's I rate him. He's gone out on loan to Rangers. They have brought in a left back, Trufford from I think it's Club Rennes. Yeah, Rennes FC. Yeah, again for 13 euros, and it's not a big 30 million. Say big 30, 40 million, but nowadays 30 million is it's neither here or there, is it? So yeah, I just don't think that they're going to push on as they could or as they should. They've still got a few good defenders. Look, I mean, you got Sensi. Senesi's still there. You got the Ukrainian lad, but I just feel they're going to be drawn into it, and that's my reason for coming. I just think the bottom clubs, the newly promoted clubs, will be going to be taking points, and I don't think Bournemouth have got enough to push on. Where I think now you've got Spurs and you've got United, what are going to be pushing a little bit further up. So already teams are thinking them two are going to push on, or they should do. And then for me. The next team I'm going to draw into, maybe another surprise again. You're going to think, what are you talking about? You probably switched off already because I haven't put Sunderland and Leeds in the bottom three and Burnley, which, look, yeah, there is a massive argument to say that the promoted teams are going to get relegated again. However, I just feel that at least with Wolves or Bournemouth, I'll cover my own arse here, that one of these are going to be drawn into it. Now, Wolves, when you're looking at Wolves' start to the season, let's have a little look here. Starting off with Man City, then they got Bournemouth, Everton, Newcastle, Leeds, Spurs, Brighton, Sunderland. So not bad once they get past Man City, but I'm just worried about the team dynamic, okay, and the how settled everyone is, and you know where's that extra leg up going to be? Now they made a couple of signings sort of south of Ego, okay. We got Larson and Lopez. You may have heard of both of them, or if not, maybe Lopez. But obviously Cunha's gone out, and straight away it's hard to say. People say, "Oh yeah, we'll be better without him," or "Oh yeah, it won't make a difference." But it's hard for the fan outside, for people who aren't actually involved in the club. It's hard to know how the dynamics will differ and how that reshuffles everything. Look, as a coach, look, just a quick example from China Division 1 where I coached, okay, we had to reshuffle our whole pack and we're moving players out of the first team to reserve team and reserves coming in because getting the right balance and dynamic is really important, but also really difficult when you've had movements. And Cunha is a massive movement. If you can hear ambulances, it's because I live near an ambulance in Taiwan and we're having a typhoon or meant to, so who knows what's going on. Okay, look, manager wise, I like him. There was mixed reviews when he came, but he put in a good performance when he was appointed. But I just think they're going to be struggling with their resources. The recruitment, it can be hit and miss. They could come in here from Santa Vigo and light up the Premier League. But now, when you're looking at the level of players, what can come in and do that, you just need players to fit in into a team unit and to have that ethos of the team to come in and to actually knuckle down, be a team player. And look, it's really difficult to judge players coming into the Premier League, regardless if you're going into one of the top four clubs, say top four clubs, top six clubs, or some of the relegation clubs. Okay. And this time, with Wolves kind of just drifting away with no real aim, Cunha's gone. I just think they're going to be dragged in it the same as Bournemouth. Wolves, I rate all these clubs. I rate all these clubs, but I've just got, again, this nagging feeling, just something isn't sitting right. And if we look at the last season's table here, yeah, look, there was almost drawn into it back end of the season. And if you pulled, if Leicester and Ipswich hadn't already raised the red flag and Spurs didn't have a weird season, they would have already been drawn into it. And I just don't see that changing unless the two new lads come in and make an instant spot, which they might. And if they do, hats off to them. And smashing for Wolves, I've just, again, this nagging feeling, and I'm just fancying them to go down. Probably not so much of a shocker now. I'm sticking in Sunderland and Leeds. I'm going to put them 17th and 16th, respectively. Okay, now going back to the old table, Sunderland had a shocking end to the season, whether or not it's because they'd already kind of secured a playoff place, but it was scary looking at that momentum. And look, Leeds played really, really good football. Daniel Farker's got a point to prove as well. And for me, I'm thinking, look, again, is it going to be open football? Are they going to get caught out? Are they going to be defensive strong enough? However, if they can score enough goals, it might just see them through, just to edge it, just to edge out Wolves, Bournemouth, and sorry, but Burnley. And I think they're going to be exciting to watch. Could be goals galore. And let's just have a look at their start of the season. Everton, Arsenal, Newcastle, Fulham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Spurs, and Burnley. Okay, so it could be a good start against Everton, but obviously I'm putting Everton higher up in my predictions. And when I'm looking at Sunderland, so yeah, Leeds, I think I think they're going to do better than they did last time, but with Leeds and Sunderland as well. Obviously, I remember them. That I've been a United fan since I was 4, 5, 6. I can't say exactly, but I remember when I got my first shirt. I remember the players what were playing in, and yeah, they weren't the United of the 2000s era. However, they are United. Okay, they're a team what we believe should be in the top tier. And to me, I just feel that Leeds are the same as that. I was growing up with Leeds, and obviously Sunderland. I've actually been to watch a Sunderland match at Sunderland, and people always say, but it was just unreal. The atmosphere is unreal. And although, yeah, why should they deserve to be in the Premier League? Like, why shouldn't anyone else? But for me, I just feel like they should, and it's not a valid reason. It's not factually based, but I just feel like they just feel that they're big enough to stay up this time. Leeds, Sunderland will stay up. The only negative with Sunderland, obviously new ownership, and who knows what's going on, but I do like one of their new signings, Diarra. Diarra's from Strasbourg, 31 million. I really rate him, and I reckon that's a great coup. And then you got, I don't know too much about Lefebvre, but Lefebvre from Roma, and where's Siddiqui come from? Union Saint Gilles. So they bolstered the midfield. It is going to be questionable whether or not the defense is going to hold up. I mean, goals against 44 last time. The firepower as well. 50 goals, 58 goals when you're looking, you can't really compare against Leeds because that's ridiculous. But even against Burnley, look, 69 goals scored. Okay, are they going to have the firepower? And look, with the newly promoted teams, the lower teams, it's not a case of are you sturdy enough or strong enough in as a defensive unit because you need to score goals. For the lower teams, if no defense as a lower team is going to withstand being pounded by the bigger clubs. So you need to be able to score as well and hopefully open up the game or actually get enough goals throughout the season, which is going to help you stay up. However, when you're a top club, I'll go into this a little bit later, I do believe that you need some kind of defensive structure and build from there. And everyone says, yeah, but it's goals that win you games. Also, you need solid foundations. And this is one thing. I know United aren't playing a pairing at the back anymore. They're trying to go three at the back, but it's always a strong defensive foundation where you can then build from that. That's including keeper as well, where you can then build from that and just make little cute additions like Cunha. Cunha would have been a great addition then, and then take it from there. But for the lower clubs or the perceived lower down clubs, you need to be able to score. That's where Sunderland could struggle. That's where Leeds might do all right. But I'm going with that. I've just got this feeling. This feeling. I've given a few reasons why. I've just got this feeling. And my next feeling is Brentford coming in here. So, like I said, I like Brentford, and I'm going to go Brentford, Brighton, and Fulham here in that order. So I'm going to think I'm saying it's Fulham 13th, Brighton 14th, Brentford 15th. And then you got two clubs I talk through. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail like I have done. Let's, for example, Leeds, Sunderland, Burnley. They're newly promoted clubs. I wanted to give a little bit more info on that. And then I wanted to explain myself with the Wolves and the Bournemouth decision. Okay. But look, I would put Fulham in that category of quite well-run clubs. Have really stabilised themselves well since coming back up. People thought they were going to go back down, but they go about their business really quietly. Brighton as well and Brentford. However, obviously the movement with Brentford losing a really, really good head coach or manager, whatever we're calling them these days. Let's just look into now the fixtures. Fulham. Starting off with Brighton. So there you go. That's going to be a great one. United, Chelsea, Leeds, Brentford, Villa, Bournemouth. And then just coming down, sorry, coming up to Brighton, it's Fulham, Everton, Man City, Bournemouth, Spurs, Chelsea, Brentford, Forest, Villa, Sunderland, Chelsea, Fulham. And look, I just feel like these teams can beat each other. I just feel like they are kind of cemented in this kind of mid-tier. They might be drawn in a little bit squeaky bum down to the bottom, or they might be pushing towards a European place again. I put these three, and I'm sorry that Bournemouth had dropped out of that, but I really like the way these clubs are run, and I wish United would be run more like that, but there's no chance of that now. The standings, I mean, just what I said here is explained in last season's standings. Okay, Fulham had a really good season. I like the way Fulham play as well. Brentford actually finished below Bournemouth, but I just got this nagging feeling with Bournemouth. I think Brighton are going to drop down. One thing what worries me with Fulham, that again, I don't know if it's been updated in terms of player arrivals, but it is the kind of squad depth. Okay, they got one of the smallest squads in the league, and look, that's okay if they're not in European competitions. However, I just think it could be a bit of a downfall if they're trying to crack on towards them European places. Look, whether or not they do bring anyone in, still a little bit time left. I'm still a fan of Jimenez. But yeah, for me, sorry, just middle. I like what they're doing. I like that they cemented their position as a champion, as a Champions League club, as a Premier League club now. Okay. So yeah, Brentford have had to bring in the new goalkeeper. Obviously, Keller's coming from Liverpool. Okay, so that's a decent in and out there because Flecken, I think he's gone. Is it Leverkusen? Yeah, Leverkusen here. That's a decent in and out. Okay, and they have added. So you got the lads from Feyenoord, from Fiorentina. Okay, decent additions, but they're going to be there or thereabouts. Could be drawn into relegation battle. Uh, could be pushing for European European slot as well. However, I think it's for them. I think it's going to be kind of the lower to mid 13 17s because I think Spurs and United are pushing on this time, and you just seen that. I think Wolves are going to drop down, and I think Bournemouth are going to drop down. So I think they're going to stick in there, and that's where I'm looking for Brighton as well. Now, Brighton, people forget where Brighton have come from. It's been a great rise to the Premier League, and if we're looking at the Pedro who's gone to Chelsea now, okay, which is going to be a massive loss. Okay, good on Chelsea as well, picking up these players. Pedro's a massive loss. They brought in now the lad. I can't. I'm going to destroy his name. Costulus. Costulus is everyone raves about him. Okay, so if I randomly I do know some people from Greece, and they just say that he's just absolute mega. And they believe that is going to be a big deal. So if he is, well done, awesome, and I'd be really happy for Brentford. So that could be a fair enough replacement. But whether or not he hits the ground running, we only time will tell. I hope so because everyone really raves about him. And they brought in Tom Watson. Okay, so Watson's gone from Sunderland, lost for them obviously, and look, the additions they've made are quite balanced, and you can't really complain about that. And if we remember last season, they were pushing the teams in European positions really, really close. It's a shame they didn't get up there, but obviously Forest and Villa very solid in them positions last season as well. So yeah, I think they'll be there and thereabout. There's not going to be much change, I believe, between them, but just a little bit lower down. I mean, from this league table and from the teams they're put in so far, you can see that I think they're going to be some of the teams what I believe underperform for various reasons, and which I think will perform a little bit better for various reasons this season, which I'm going to go into right now. So for me, I'm going to go 12th position with Palace. I'm just going to put them all in. I'm not going to keep you suspended. Forest, West Ham. So here we've got 10th position West Ham, 11th Forest, 12th Palace. You're thinking, what? What on earth are you talking about now? What on earth are you talk about now? Baldy Matty. That's what my nephew calls me. So I guess everyone else can call me that. So the two things I'm looking at, Forest and Palace, and everyone goes on about this, that if they're going to be playing in Europe, I think clubs underestimate, well, they don't underestimate, but some supporters, fans, or people can underestimate the actual toll it takes on traveling. Some people think, oh, it's just traveling around Europe and, oh, they're all right. They've got good leg room and everything. Well, I'll tell you, you know, from coaching in Asia, and some of our away matches, for example, in the China League, we're traveling 5 hours on plane, and it takes it out of you. Even traveling 3 hours on plane, it takes it out of you. Even traveling business class, takes it out of you. And I wasn't even playing. I'm coaching. I wasn't even playing, and you just don't feel right. You just don't feel right. And I'm not saying that obviously these players are in a different level to what I was, although hey, we still get treated pretty well, but you don't know where they're going to end up, and it just from a coach's perspective, it just kills your week uh, schedule. It's really difficult to schedule with league matches, cup matches, European Cup matches, and do what you need to do with players, with your units, all in a week, what they need to be done in. It's just hard to explain, and it's a nightmare to schedule for the coaches as well. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's just really hard. It's not just a matter of players travel, oh, they'll be all right, they can rest and then play again. There's just so much what goes on behind the scene, and I'm not belittling anyone because they don't know what happens if you don't know what happens behind the scene, regards to the players, the coaches, for rest, for periods of training. Um, on the on one hand, the positive note is you can get that momentum. You do build that momentum. On another hand, you can pick up more injuries. Um, the tiredness does set in and it extends, especially if you're starting earlier in the season. If some of the uh, European matches do, which they're used to, then it can drag the season on. So later on, I expect to these to, yeah, get worn out, but not to improve greatly. Look, West Ham, of course, you're probably thinking, well, they should be near the bottom, and they're not like Forest and they're not like Palace traveling around everywhere. However, I'm a fan. I am a fan of Graham Potter. I think now you would hope that he's gonna look. I know some people are calling West Ham a bit of a poison chalice, but I think he's going to get them settled. He's going to get some kind of team spirit going. However, their strength in depth would be a problem for me. Is it going to be another nonsense season for them? Is Potter going to be let go? I mean, the potential is there. I just think he's going to. This is kind of his chance to prove himself or not. I mean, he's got to make a difference. He's got to show people that he is a real deal. Highly thought of, obviously, at Brighton. A bit of a nightmare at Chelsea. Was he given a fair crack? Possibly not. However, he's at West Ham, and West Ham are no small club in the Premier League. They are quite established now, and although I haven't put them in the lower mid-table, which possibly they should be, I just think they are going to kick on due to Potter because he's either going to smash it or he's going to have another disaster. Okay, so I think for West Ham, I think it depends on Potter. I don't think they've got a strong enough squad, but this is where the manager is really going to matter. It's going to matter. And now, when we're looking at Forest, what a season I was gutted, obviously, originally when I'm back home in England. I'm from East Midlands, I'm from Lincolnshire, so I've been to a few Forest matches. I'm a big fan of the history. All my friends, or majority of my mates back home, are Forest fans. And I was gutted that they didn't get into Champions League. However, when you look at the start of the season, would they have took it at the start? Yeah, they would have probably snapped your hand off. It was just a shame it ended how it did. They brought in Jesus. Is that Botafogo? Yeah, it's Botafogo. So they have brought in Botafogo, but look, players like this, they can either be absolute machines or they just disappear and do weird stuff like just start smashing people. So I don't know too much about him, but I have been watching Club World Cup and Botafogo were my team to win it, but they've been knocked out. Fluminense is still in it. I do like I do like Nuno as a manager. I think he's a tremendous manager. It's really good that he's stayed there. And I think with the squad they've got, they just work well. They just put the players into positions where they need to play. As they say, round pegs into round holes. And that's what I like. I like things working. I like everything's constructed.
I just think that extra-European football is going to take its toll on them, which you can say about all European teams and Palace as well. I think Palace had another great season. What an amazing performance in the cup final uh, to win the cup as well. And look, they brought in a new goalkeeper. I just think for these teams, no disrespect to Forest, which they could kick on again. I wouldn't be surprised. But teams such as Palace, it's really hard to replicate a good season again. Okay, for this kind of mid-tier or mid-league clubs, it is really difficult to maintain. Let's say, for example, 3, 4, 5 years of kicking on and improving each time, or even maintain a good run in the league, or even a cup win as well. Okay, now with Europe matches as well, it's going to be even more difficult for me. For these clubs, obviously fans want more, owners want more, players want more, but for me, enjoy the experience. Going now into eighth and ninth position, I'm putting in Spurs and I'm putting in Everton. Yes, you might think I'm absolutely losing my mind. However, I think Spurs are going to obviously do better than last season, but I just don't think they're going to zoom straight back up to battling for top four, top five place right now. And you might be thinking, United are they? Well, yeah, I'm gonna. I might shock you with that one, but I really do think Spurs are going to be in around here. They have got the Champions League and the focus beyond that. Do they want to repeat where they come in lower down in the league again, but they're doing all right in the Champions League? No, they need to kick on into the league now. Now, is the guy in charge? Is he going to be taking them to the promised land? I do rate him as a manager. Thomas Frankie is the right character. He's a good egg. Okay, when you haven't got Conte Mourinho there, what's sick of battle axes and they're causing chaos. He's a good egg, Thomas Frank. Now, have Spurs got the squad needed? They made a few additions. I do like, I do like Danzo. Where's Danzo? Yeah, that's it, Lens. I do like Danzo, but have they made the additions needed to propel them up again to the top six? I don't think so. I think they're just going to fall a little bit short. Not to say that they won't, but Spurs are just another one, and everyone kind of labels this now. But they always have been. They've been like a good cup team, even back in the days with Eric Torsved in goal, and you got Gary Mabbott, and you got Sheringham playing, and you had Ginola there, and you had Anderton and everyone. Great to watch. Great to watch, but you just don't feel that it's really solid, and they're going to move up again and be a solid top four team when the other top four or five clubs are improving. And I just don't agree how they're getting no stability. And it's a shame because a club needs stability. Let's say, look, if they said to Frank, whatever happens, apart from unless you get relegated, then you're gone. But whatever happens, we're sticking by you, because I rate Frank. A lot of people rate Frank. And if you're not sticking by Frank, who are you? Who's left? Who's left to put your trust in? Who's left to rate? Okay, there's not many people. There's not many managers left to rate. Okay, are you going to bring someone in just to get them out in a season? It has to stop. Otherwise, you're going to end up with uh, United ongoings, right? So it has to stop. So they are going to have to get behind someone. Now, if they did that, I would say, yeah, let Frank do his work, bring in new recruitments, and then actually build some strong foundations. But I think they're falling short on that again. Everton, what are you talking about? Why are you putting Everton here? Sorry, let's just go back to the Premier League table. Okay. Struggling, I know. Look at Spurs there. Everton was struggling, I know, under Palace, under Fulham, under Brentford. But I tell you, pure fact that I like Moyes at Everton. I can't explain anything else, and that may be a poor excuse or a poor argument. But I just like Moyes at Everton, and I think Moyes is Everton. Weirdly enough, although it was absolute bit of a disaster, I think he should have been given more time at United. I'm going to get slammed for that if anyone heard me saying that to their face. but why not considering what we've had? Anyway, I won't talk about that right now. And yeah, I just like Moyes at Everton, and I think he can get them above Spurs, above West Ham, into eighth position. I just think they're going to have an all right season. Have they got the strength in depth? I don't believe so. Who they brought in is that Alcaraz from Flamengo, yeah, for 50 million euros. Okay, now Calvert-Lewin's gone. They've still got Beto, unless he's moved. I think Beto's still there. Have they got the strength in even the first team? No. Have they got the strength in the squad? No. But I just like Moyes at Everton. And people say, yeah, but remember, moving into a new stadium isn't always easy. Look at West Ham. However, on the Switch side, moving into a new stadium, it could reignite something, especially with Moisey there as well. It could go the other way and it could give them an extra bit of belief just for this season, even though with a crap next season. I just got a feeling Moisey's going to get them in eighth position. Going into now Europa Conference League, it's just on its own, seventh place. I think it's Villa. I think Villa are going in, and you're like, oh no, Villa have turned the corner now. They're now they're now a top five, top six team. I love the way Villa play. I loved Emery. The fact that Emery basically set up yours to everyone who laughed at him at Arsenal, took the mick out of his English and whatnot. You try and go to a different country then and speak their language. Like, literally, Emery has just proven that he is a very, very talented manager. Not only tactically, but obviously he's a good playing manager as well. Good people's person. And they obviously want to play for him, which is half of the battle. Now, who they brought in here? Oh, Coutinho. Coutinho's gone. Finally, hasn't he been around for a while now? I thought he'd already. So when you're looking at Ollie Watkins, he's been linked with United. Will Ollie Watkins go? I was surprised when he was getting his nose pushed out of shape some matches for Rashford. And look, long term wise, if you knew Rashford weren't going to stay, I would have. For me, Watkins is one of them kind of power strikers. What's got speed, powerful, and they can finish. And for me, yeah, I think he was just a little bit unsettled there. And people say he's not good enough for United, but a lot of players are good enough for United these days. And if Villa keep hold of him, great. Will he have the same drive as last season or the start of last season? Who knows? Now they have got European competition to be focusing on as well. So if we look into the fixtures, let's look at Villa's start to the season. Newcastle, Brentford, Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, and Burton. Burton? Why am I saying Burton? Because Burton on Trent isn't far from me. Okay, and Burnley. Okay, this could get them off to a good start again. Not bad for Villa whatsoever. And they are going to be there or thereabouts. And I just think they're going to. I don't think they're going to get into the Champions League, and I think they might be edged out. They could drop into the 8th to 12th area. They're probably going to prove me wrong and get into the Champions League, but I just think they're going to end up in the Conference League. If we look again, they had a great performance there, coming in at 6th. Again, they missed out marginally to Newcastle, even Chelsea, but marginally, same points as Newcastle. So, yeah, it was a shame. They do play great football, tactically really aware as well. Now, here's where you're going to start laughing at me if you're not already laughing at me. I'm going in now for 6th place. I'm going in for. I just clicked on something. There we go. Newcastle. I'll put them in relegation. Newcastle here. And 5th place, I'm going for United. First off, Newcastle. Okay. I just big fan of Eddie Howe. I think they've got some very good individual players. If we're looking at the fixtures of the first 7 matches, we're going to Villa, Liverpool, Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth, Arsenal. Okay. I still think they've got a lot to prove, obviously, with the ownerships and whatnot. But I think they're going to be there or thereabouts. I still don't think they can break into the top four. The top four, the game has changed for the top four places now, which I'll go into after this. And I just think Newcastle are going to be there or thereabouts. Possibly they swap places. It could be, look, it could be Villa taking out United, putting United in the Europa place, Conference League place, and it could be Newcastle and Villa again battling out for these two places. And it's the same kind of story. Can they attract all the big names of football like people thought they were going to get? They thought they were going to be the new Galacticos. It doesn't work like that. Luckily, they've still got majority of the squad. Isaac's still there. What a quality player he is. I mean, I don't think he's gone anywhere since making this video, and he's going to do well again. Will he move in the second part of the season? Okay, so the possibility is there. I just don't think that they've made the additions yet. They still might do to kick on. I don't think they're going any further down, and they play decent football. Eddie Howe tactically very very good. If he wasn't English, he'll be up there in top names. That's my opinion. And moving on to United, look, United are a total mess. This isn't time to go into it now. I'm making a new a separate Manchester United channel as well, which is coming out soon. And I just feel that what a mess. Because when we go into the top four, United are still miles off. So why have I put them there? Because I just feel they could have a lucky break. Cunha could come in and just add a little bit of class. Bruno stayed. It's still left to see how they're going to line up, how they're going to work together. For me, United's defensive unit is still terrible. Players obviously can't play in the system. Who knows? But I just got a feeling for some reason, you watch starting off at Arsenal, for some reason, they're going to have a bit of a spark, and it could be the attacking spark because absolutely dreadfully defense. There's no more defensive partnerships. What has been the foundation of title or Premier League titles in the past. Then with a solid midfield and someone who can actually score. Another name, such as Cunha, with Bruno in the mix, might spark something. Whether it's a one man or a two-man band, it just could spark a run. What's enough to actually get people excited again and get a little bit of momentum. There is the worry, I think, for a goalkeeper, a couple of defenders. For me, we need new defenders. Defenders don't just come in and start a partnership and play flowing football in a back three. However, I just feel that this spark is going to come from somewhere. And we're starting off with Arsenal, Fulham, Burnley, City, Chelsea, Brentford, Sunderland, Liverpool. Not an easy start. Again, a little bit like, who did I say? Graham Potter. Okay, I think it's going to be again hit or miss. You're out. You're staying. You've got to perform, or you're gone. You're a joke, and no one's going to take you seriously. Okay, so he's got to really make sure that everyone understands this new formation. Principles of play, because look, the ownership isn't going to change. The way the club's run isn't going to change. It's run horribly. It's run dreadfully. It feels in the background just all the vibe. It feels poisonous. How they've been allegedly treating the other workers of the club as well. It's not United. It doesn't feel like that family like it once was, and still I'm putting them there. Maybe it's a little bit of biased hope, but I just feel like there is going to be this spark. There is going to be this spark. And I do think there's going to be another couple of signings. I mean, you're thinking from where? All the players are going to other clubs. Yeah, I know. But I just think something's going to happen to get enough points to push into that Europa League space or the Conference League place. Okay. Yep. There you go. I've said it. I've done it. It's ridiculous. I know. Now, Going on to the four big boys. The strength in depth that Chelsea have. You can't argue with the quality that Chelsea have. I am questioning. Look, I'm not one of them what are like saying, "Oh, they've got 1,000 players and all that nonsense." Okay, uh, they've got a good squad. Actually, it's a scary squad now. And when you're looking at Liam Delap, who's been brought in, Pedro, who's been brought in, it is scary. Uh, oh, Joel Felix has come back. Okay, you've still got Cole Palmer, massive, massive, massive talent. Can we still call him a talent? We've got Noni. Now, Noni has been linked lightly with Arsenal. I think that'd be a big mistake if he goes because look, I know his one-on-one coach, his play development coach, his one-on-one skills coach, Sol Isaacson Hurst, and he speaks very, very, of course he does, but he speaks very highly of Noni. And you can see Noni is a hard worker. He's an absolute machine. He may have his doubters, but look at the mistakes people make with De Bruyne, with Salah. Clubs letting massive talent go too early, and it's a regrettable let go. Chelsea should hold on to him. However, I think that he would be more suited at Arsenal in terms of building a foundation to push on to be one of the best talents in the world. I'm going out to say that. But if you look at Chelsea's squad, it is scary. But the question I have is consistency of getting the first team out there and how the dynamics works now with the new players coming in because we just don't know. We know the massive players and they got a huge, amazingly talented, hugely talented squad. I wasn't going to go into the huge squad gag, that's old now and gone. However, dynamics, all it takes is one little movement, one player out, one player in, dynamics change, and another player comes in, that changes the dynamics of another player what's just come in and a player what's been moved across. You just don't know. And that's a lot of dynamics, a lot of environmental changes to manage. Okay. Is a manager good enough to manage all these? I believe, well, he's obviously doing an all right job about it. I just don't believe that he can get everything quieted down and settled down. I may be proven totally wrong. They may push on and actually push for, well, they're going to be pushing for the title, but I think they're just going to come short just because of that reason. Again, they're bringing new faces, massively talented, but you can't keep them all happy. You can't. And I know I've been a head coach myself. I've had all my players who I like and who I thought they like me. And even though you rate them and they rate you and they seem happy, you can't keep everyone happy. And you've got to leave people out. And when you've got to leave some of these Chelsea players out, it's how the other players react around them. It's how them players who have been left out react as well. It's how the manager deals with it all. Okay, so going in now, hoping that we're going to have a title race this time, a proper title race, and I think we are. And I've not chose what people think, how people think it's going to go this season, and I'm going to go into my reasons right now. In third place, Arsenal. Yeah, I know. I do a little think that Arsenal are going to win the league. However, I think obviously that Man City and Liverpool, for reasons I'll go into after, are going to just nip ahead of them. But I do love the players Arsenal are bringing in. Now I know they've had the issue of one of the players who obviously isn't going to be playing for them this season. I'm not even going to say his name because he's been found guilty, and if he is guilty, it's disgusting. But the additions they've made, it looks like Gyökeres is going to Arsenal. I mean, is it around 70 million, I think? And again, when this video is released, I don't know if it's been sealed, but it looks like they're very, very close. and he's a monster. If you want to talk about the new phrase power strikers, what we used to talk about with Alan Shearer and whatnot, power strikers, this guy is a beast. He can hold up the ball, he can turn, he likes to turn, he likes to get at defenders really, really quickly. He can dribble, he can finish, he can take free kicks. So, oh, I put Arsenal champions there. So, why have I only put Arsenal into third position? I just think they're going to fall short again because I feel Man City and Liverpool have just got that experience and know-how. I really do. Arsenal are filling the holes with what they need. I really believe that. What a steal. Well, I say a steal, 70 million euros, but what a great addition. Okay. I really, and Kepa as a backup keeper, United, come on. Really? Is he not better than what we've already got? But Zubimendi is what they need, obviously, to replace for the player who isn't going to be playing. Declan Rice is still there, masterful. They've shown that they can be solid in defence again. Saka's still there. And I'm sorry, but they get the Swedish lad. And I think that is the missing piece to complete the squad. It's only the know-how. It's only that. Arteta just hasn't tasted it yet. And I know, well, he has to taste it at some point. Well, we don't know. Is he ever going to win a league? We don't know, right? But the point is, he hasn't yet. And the point is, obviously, Liverpool and Man City have with their managers what are in place right now. So I do think Arsenal are going to fall short again, but I think it's going to be pushed right to the limit. And the new signing, if they get him or when they get him, is going to be a machine and he's going to push them really close. However, they fall short again for me. Not for Arteta's fault. He's doing what he can. He's doing as much as he can. He's got them well drilled for sure. However, I'm moving into the territory of second place, Liverpool, which leaves Man City as champions. What am I talking about? Liverpool are strong as Faka. Absolutely. However, I just think that people are undermining Man City. And I know, but I just feel, and Liverpool is so powerful, it's almost like a cheat code, a cheat code. Let's talk about Liverpool first, okay? For one, they haven't been at the Club World Cup. Are they going to be fresher or are they going to lack the momentum? That is nice for their players. I'm just looking at their start. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal, Burnley. I think it said Bury then. Burton-on-Trent, Everton, Palace, Chelsea, United. So, Liverpool, no doubt now, have the squad strength. Wurtzer is like Eden Hazard, Hazard in his prime with Joe Cole, who was massively underused and would have been better if he was playing in these years. It's like both them mixed together but on steroids, and this guy just breaks lines. He breaks lines with dribbles, with passes, what he shouldn't even see, and he can actually finish as well. And 125 euros is massive. What's that, about 113 million pound? What an addition that is. And if that isn't enough, Frimpong. Frimpong, is he more kind of attacking fullback, right back? He's going to obviously fit in Trent slot. But what a bit of business this is. The lad from Bournemouth, what I mentioned before, they've spent the money, they've got the money, they've spent it, and they've got Arnie Slot, what's coming and won the league. I mean, that's exactly what you needed. But what I like, as everyone always says, is that they just didn't change anything. Defending champions, They didn't change anything. Slot didn't come in and say, we're doing it my way. He kept the principles, he kept the foundations, and he just added. And I think they're monstrous. They are monstrous and scary. However, you know what? I'm not Pep's biggest fan. I'm not. Obviously, I'm not City's biggest fan. I'm not Liverpool's biggest fan. But I do respect them all because I'm a coach. I'm a football man. Okay, I'm not a crazy lunatic fan going off my head saying they're shite. But Pep isn't. Pep, Pep's not right. Pep's not right in the head, and he is not. He is not letting that go. Okay. Last season was a let off. Last season was a let off. We know that. This season, I'm sorry, but full steam ahead. I don't know if it's going to hurt them or be a benefit for them, having been playing, getting the new lads together in the Club World Cup. But the players are brought in are the players what Pep needs. And if anyone can integrate players well, it's Pep. Because if they don't do what he wants, they're pushed out. Okay. I think we are forgetting about Haaland. Okay. Whatever you think about him, whether you think he should be a better player or this or that, he's going to score goals. He's going to score goals. And I will bet your house on it, and my house is on it, that he's getting City playing a way that's going to have him scoring goals again. Now, De Bruyne's gone. Kyle Walker, yeah, bit part player in the end, has gone. How is Grealish going to feature, if at all? Same with Foden. I think there's just going to be a re-announced energy to the team. Defensively, I think they could be better for sure, but I think it's just Pep. It's just not right. It's not right in the head. I'm sorry. I know Liverpool should be there. I know City should be battling out for second and third with Arsenal. However, I just have this weird peppy feeling that City are going to do it. And they are my predictions. Thought it was going to be a quick one. I ended up going on too long. However, I loved it. And I'm going to come back to this at the end of the season and see how terribly wrong I was. Hopefully, I got more right than not. I haven't mean to disrespect anyone's club. I actually love football. I love all your clubs. And best wishes for it. Stay tuned for more Premier League videos, football from around the world, and some random videos about coaches. See you later.